Hey everybody, welcome to the Retired 25 podcast. I'm your host, Salomon Roybal, and with us today we have Erica King of Think Happy, Live Happy. How are you today, Erica?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your experience, sharing your business with us, and hopefully people get a lot of good knowledge out of this conversation we're about to have.
Yeah, I hope the same. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's just jump straight into it. What got you into entrepreneurship?
My entrepreneurship mindset stemmed really from my 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 mindset that was like, I can't go without, and I needed things, and when you don't have many people providing for you, you have to either get it or don't have it. So that mindset just developed into me always having a job, me always working, and that turned into me learning that I'm not really set up to be an employee, if that makes sense, but only
Yeah.
to a certain point. I have come into the understanding that you have to put the work in, but I just rather put the work in for myself.
Hmm.
And that developed over time, and it's allowed me to grow with being an entrepreneur. I just rather invest my time and my energy into something that I believe in rather than just somebody else's mission. But I have had a lot of jobs, so that also has allowed me to learn like, I'm okay, I'm good. I'm good on this, unless it's a job that kind of pours into and enriches my educational experience, because I'm also a college student. So if it's like a job that's based on my major or my career field, then I'm all for it. But which I am currently working in my career field. But like the other jobs that I had at teenager high school, I can't no more.
Yeah. Hey, that's one of like the trademarks, right? That everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur is when you can't stand the job, you can't have a boss. That was for me one of the biggest things. I had a job for about 4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
Hmm.
And I just remember every day thinking to my boss, like, I cannot be here. Like, there's no way you can continue to tell me when to be here and like when to use the restroom. I had like 15-minute break to eat lunch. I had a 15-minute break to use the restroom. I was like, how am I gonna schedule to go to the restroom?
Oh my God, yes. I'm laughing because I can relate 100% from factory jobs to fast food jobs
Mm.
to jobs that I had for a day. I worked at Panera Bread for all of one day. Like it was my job experience. I want to say sadly is kind of terrible, but it speaks to my growth. It absolutely speaks to my growth because
Mm.
all of that money that I made working those jobs, every time I was in the right space too, I invested it into Think Happy, Live Happy. And so I
Okay.
thank those. You know what I'm saying? We thank those jobs because they put us here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I definitely agree. Q cannot schedule that times.
So, what is Think Happy, Live Happy?
Think Happy, Live Happy in summary is a nonprofit corporation actually. We just incorporated in 2019. We're devoted to the healing and the enrichment of one's internal existence holistically from a psychological frame of reference. This organization grew about when I was able to begin my own self-healing and just I kind of manifested it, I think, because with that entrepreneurial mindset that we talk about, I didn't have a path of what I was going to do as an entrepreneur. And this came about with my healing and with being able to take note of my mental health issues and really accepting them and like understanding that, okay, I suffer from this, let me address this, and let me address this in a healthy way. My organization basically provides resources to undervalued communities and institutions, so schools, refugee programs, and that sort of thing. We bring enrichment kits and sessions, and those, or sometimes I've even been able to do like a custom kind of program to cater towards that audience. But they're all stemmed in educating, enriching, and elevating the individual. And within those three things, I call that E3. That's the
Mm.
formula and blueprint that I do everything by. E3 allows me to just it's like a guideline I follow for my organization, for everything I create, for everything I do. And,
Mhm.
you know, it grows. Also, it's still growing. It's growing with Think Happy, Live Happy. They're like boyfriend and girlfriend, brother and sister. They tie into each other.
Yeah.
So I'm just the worker bee. There, it's really crazy. It's really crazy how this is like, how things just come to me. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my, it's crazy. But yeah, nonprofit corporation. Think Happy, Live Happy.
Okay. And how did you like come up with making that into a business? That's, mental health is so important, especially in today's time, right? Today's day. And it's more open, more people are accepting of it, more people are talking about it. Last night I was in a conversation from my friend Devin. He has Let's Talk About It, where it's just people talk about their mental health, things that normally are stigmatized. So how did you like come up with the idea to make that into a business?
Um, when I first decided that I wanted to pursue entrepreneurship and that I wanted to be my own boss, as we say in this generation, I just at first was like, okay, I have this brand name, and that's really all I had. I didn't have a mission statement. I didn't have values. I didn't have a budget and plan. I didn't have like a fiscal year, all of that fancy stuff. I had a name, and I was like, I'm going to put this name on t-shirts, and like people are going to support me, and I'm going to have a photo shoot. And that was what I had. And then I realized, I was like, wait, it didn't feed. I didn't really, I didn't get a reaction out of that. It didn't really feed that entrepreneurial drive that I had. It didn't feed it. So,
Okay.
I approached it differently. I started to self-educate myself more on business structures, and I started to read more books, and I started to watch more videos and listen to more podcasts. And I just had a phase where that's all I did. And, that kind of opened my mind up to what my options were. And that's when I was like, you know what? Um, I love to help. I love to give back. I love to do things to make other people feel good. I'm a very sensitive person, so I'm very sensitive to all the cruelties in the world. And it's just like, I want to help heal, and I want to do my part. And so that passion, my passion to be in the philanthropic field, that stemmed from my struggle. I've been there before, and if I had somebody to help me, that would have just been everything. So I just tied that into that name I had, and with the research, it pushed me to be a founder of a nonprofit. It was like, okay, this is the field you should be in. And also, I really have to speak to um, my personal experience with my path, and just how the universe pours into me. And she allows my thoughts to basically just come about on their own. I'll be sitting doing something, and I'll be so inspired, and this thought has turned into something that I'm now pitching to a school. So I also have to give credit to that, because what I give my energy to is what manifested. That's what's been happening. So yeah, I had a photo shoot, and then I was like, you know what, I gotta do more. And now I'm really living that truth.
No, that's amazing. And you know what? I love that you brought up the point that you didn't have a business in mind. You had a name, right? You had a brand name.
Yeah.
And just with that seed, you went one step with it, next step with it, started learning about businesses, started listening to podcasts, audiobooks, whatever it was. And that's such a great, I love that you talked about that, because a lot of times we stop ourselves, or we don't act on our ideas because we think, okay, it's just an idea, it's just a name, but I have to develop it all overnight. I have to have it all ready before I can launch. And it's not like that. You're proof of it. You just need a name, you need an idea. Whatever it is that you have, you can start with that today.
Yeah. And you need drive. I definitely, that also is like why this is such a slow process, because for like 4 months on the time, my motivation and my drive, and this just like my hunger, it'll just be so crazy. I'll just be going after everything, and then I'll have a real slow period for like 2 months where I don't work on my business. So if it's a process, because as an entrepreneur, I think we always want to be in that mindset where we have that hunger and we're chasing. But, you know, in the mental health field, I have to honestly say I can't always be in that mindset because it's not healthy for me. You know, I need to sometimes invest in self-care for a month, or, you know, I need to take some time to myself for a month. And I'm learning that. And I'm also trying to accept that and now create a balance where I can get all the things that I need to get done, because it's a lot. But then also take care of myself too. So yeah, definitely what you said. All you need is a name and a fire under your butt.
Right. What kind of books were you reading?
One of my favorite books is Entrepreneurship. It's a thick book. It's like Entrepreneurship. I want to go get it, but we don't have time for that. It's so really I was reading self-development books. So like self-help books, self-development books. I read a lot of books on spirituality and religion because that was also something I think was holding me back, was my faith and what I believed in, because I did suffer a death of a parent. And the death of my parent, you know, that affected me tremendously. So once I kind of found spirituality, I was given the option to like kind of flow and like be a little bit enlightened, as they would say. So I was reading spiritual books, self-help books. I was just reading books on how to manifest things that I wanted. I was reading books on mental health. And I just I would get like workbooks when it came to business. I would get like the kinds you can write in and they give you kind of prompts to do. Those were actually my favorite. And just books on how to be an entrepreneur. I have to find that book. I'm gonna try to look on my laptop while we talking, but I'm gonna find that one that was my ticket to, like, my mind was like, okay, let's get in your bag.
And right now, are you reading a specific book, or do you have a book that you recommend people?
Right now, I'm reading The Power of Now. I'm trying to finish it. I'm really dragging it out. It's by Eckhart Tolle, I think.
Yeah.
The Power of Now. It just is it's a more spiritual book. It speaks to staying in the present, and it speaks to why we need to detach from the past, and, you know, why it's so significant to be present in your now. And, you know, it goes into details and talks about the complexities of how much our past influence our present and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't read that book fully, but I have gone through like a few chapters of it. My mentor has recommended to me, or he's broken down some chapters to me, and it's a great book, amazing book.
It is. I need to finish it. Another book that actually really spoke to my growth was The Four Agreements. I feel like, you know, that's a staple. The Four Agreements are a staple. If I can remember, you know, be impeccable with your word, never take anything personal, and then always do your best. I don't remember the other one, but that is a good one too. The Four Agreements. I'm not reading that currently, but I would definitely just not hesitate to read it again. It was a good one.
Yeah. See, for me, the staple book is Think and Grow Rich, and Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know, as an entrepreneur.
Think and Grow Rich. I actually left on the train. And I never got to finish it. Yeah, I was really hurt that day.
You gotta go buy that one again.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but that's one of my that's my number one books. Like every year, I start with that book again. I read it every January because it's.
I like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's that type of book, you know. It's like an engine recheck for my brain, like a little tune, right?
Yeah, I like that. Just reading one book every January. I'm probably trying to tap into that. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's about that education, right? As an entrepreneur, you have to always be educating yourself. You know, I'm very vocal with my beliefs about standard education, right? University and all that. But because of that, you know, I always have to clarify. To me, I'm all about education. It's just that formal, structured education. Like, I'm the first one to tell you, right? I was the worst student in college. Like, I was just there to get out. I was just there to get my degree. You know, because for me, my dad was a college professor. He's taught high school, has 2 masters, like 80% of a PhD done. So he was very,
Pressure.
he was very, very, for education, right?
Yeah.
My mom, an immigrant, came here legally at first, then, built businesses, then taught us, go into network marketing, became very successful in network marketing. And she always just wanted us to have a degree because that's like that was a dream for her because she never got one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in school, I was just getting my degree to get out. Like I literally picked a major that I could finish quickly.
What's your major? What was your major?
Sociology.
Oh, I mean, you still did good. You still
It's a good major. I learned a lot, right? So I learned a lot in that major. I learned a lot about myself, my family, but I always wanted to be like an electrical engineer. So when I transferred to Arizona State, I gave my counselor my transcripts and I told her I want to be an electrical engineer. And she said, well, you need 6 years of math. And I was like, all right, well, what can I do?
That's what I would have said.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, you know what? Forget what I just said. That was the old me. That was me 2 minutes ago. I've grown now.
Oh, shit.
What do I have on the table that will get me out in 2 years? And she looked at it. She's like, well, you have a lot of sociology, like prereqs already done. I was like, I'm a social major. What's up?
6 years?
Yeah.
I could do one semester.
Yeah.
I could barely do one semester.
Well, it's because I bounced around like my schools, real quick.
So it took you a little longer.
Yeah. I went to a 4-year, and then I went to a bunch of JUCOs and junior colleges. So
like what are you?
So I just never took math. I took what I needed to, the basics, and then just all my fillers, my prereqs, my gen ed. So when I showed up, I didn't have any math, and I needed to be at a way higher level.
Like even hearing your story is wild because the formal educational system is trash. Nobody set you down and told you like you should maybe take one math course. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody had a conversation with you. And it happened to me too. I was in classes that I didn't need to be in, and it's just so they can get money from us. And imagine if in high school they would have taught us how to be entrepreneurs or how to invest in stocks or buy land. Like what was we learning in high school again? Like
I went to a private high school, college preparatory, and I tell you right now, the only thing I learned about college and that's high school in 4 years was how to cheat properly. And I had a teacher in high school that told me that he taught us how to cheat properly because he said
wow.
He said that's how you get through college.
Wow.
He was my AP English teacher, and he was like he was a character, right? So one time we was talking about research papers, and I was asking why we never do research papers because we always wrote thesis papers. Like to this day, I hate thesis. Like I just hate that word because I have trauma from it.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
But it was funny because I would test the limits of a thesis paper because I wanted to see like, is this bullshit or not? Because for a thesis, you can really write about anything as long as you can back it up in the paper. You can write about anything.
Yeah.
So I would read, the short stories. We were reading like Melville and all these like absurd English novelists. So I would pick like a very weird like point in the story and make a weird point about it. And I do good on it because I could figure out how to connect like points that weren't really there, but I can make them seem like they were there. So one day I was asking why we don't do research papers. And he kind of went into this whole tirade about the university systems. And he said, and this, I'll always remember this. He said, if your professor in the university asks you to write a research paper, they're idiots because all they're trying to see is how good you can copy and paste. And then he taught us how to copy and paste, cite correctly, and not get caught. And to that day, anytime I had a research paper, you do that Turnitin.com. My paper will come back like 99% copyrighted, like plagiarized. But because he taught us how to make it happen, like how to make it work. Never had a problem with it.
Wow. I need him in my life. I'm a psych major. I can't express how many research papers I have to write. Okay.
No, I can knock out a research paper in like 20 minutes.
We're gonna have a conversation after the
Right.
after the YouTube, because teach me. That's crazy. I actually took a philosophy course and my professor was like, Erica, like the last 3 pages of your paper are plagiarized. And I was like, no, they're paraphrased. Mm-hmm. He was like, you did not paraphrase well. So I had to rewrite that whole paper. Ever since then, I was like, I've been really diligent with that because it was wild.
See, I stopped writing papers after my sophomore year, so I started paying someone to write them. See, I was an entrepreneur. I was always an entrepreneur from the jump, from the very start. Even though I didn't know it, everyone tells me, right? I'm lazy. I'll tell you, I'm lazy. I will find, that quote by Henry Ford, right? I love a lazy person because they'll find the easiest way to do something. That's me.
I have seen,
Yeah, that's me. You give me any problem, and I'll find the easiest way to do it. Because I'm lazy. I don't want to work too hard. So, but for an entrepreneur, in a way, that's always beneficial. Because I think we get caught up a lot of times where we want to do everything, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to say, that I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. But a jack of all trades is a master of none. So what I tell people is, master what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be, if your thing is to build a business, go and build the business and hire people to handle all the other stuff. Correct?
That's heavy.
And, you pay the right people to do the rest.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best at marketing, the best at sales, the best at recruiting, the best at taxes and accounting and all that. No, you have to find your strength, be the best that you can in your thing, and pay people to do the other stuff. Yeah, you have to be educated.
Why are you talking to me right now? Like, yo, yes.
It's a common trap we fall into, right? I fell into it when we started. I have a family business. All my businesses are family. So we come from network marketing because of my mom. She has success, so we gotta go that way. And I never had a job straight out of university. I went straight into network marketing. But my sister is the same. She went and worked for NASA for a while because she's an astrophysics and physics major. So she went and got a job, was hating life, and then she went to network marketing. But because of the 3 of us are very different, we had to come to an understanding of like, okay, when it comes to like certain things, my mom's gonna handle that. When it comes to certain things, I'll handle that. When it comes to other things, my sister will handle that. And anything that we can't handle or that it's too much, we pay someone else to do it. Like, don't be cheap. Don't be cheap in your business. Obviously, don't overextend yourself. Pay what you can, but pay the best people that you can, right? Because in the long run, they're gonna help you be safe. Like if you're between an accountant that is cheaper as opposed to an accountant that's better, they might be triple the price. But if they're gonna protect you from being audited, especially as a nonprofit, right? Like now we're talking nonprofits get audited from what I understand every quarter.
Yep.
So if I had a nonprofit, I would pay the best accounting and to handle all my taxes because the IRS does not play. The IRS will come at you for any little thing that is off, that looks fishy. And it doesn't even be fishy, but if they can make a case that it looks fishy, they'll come after you. So, that's why it's so common for entrepreneurs to fall into that, because we get into that like mindset where we have to be everything in our business. And in the reality, we don't. We don't.
I don't know why this interview turned into like you checking me, but I definitely am trying to. I really just came into the acknowledgement of that. Like, wow, I really need a team.
Yep.
Like, I really need a strong team so that I can bring my vision to life, because I'm not the marketer. I'm not the strategist. I'm not the, the financial analyst, the lawyer, like, it's a lot. And this is the nonprofit industry. I don't know who's going to be watching this, who's in the nonprofit industry. You know how complex it is and how many people I need. I absolutely agree with that. Like, focus on your strength. Focus on my strength. Let me hold myself. Focus on my strength. Yeah, like, that's true. That's real. That's solid.
But, having that circle, like you said, having that team is going to be the reason you make it into something bigger.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be the reason you can take your vision, your idea into something that's really sustainable, something that really changes and impacts lives. Because like you said, you're not the marketer. If you can't market your own business, how are people going to find it?
Yeah.
Right?
I'm indecisive when it comes to this marketing. Because I create social media campaigns, but I create so many.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need that many. Just put that one out. Put the next one out, and that's where I'm at with it. Like, I definitely need a team, if anybody looking to be a part of the team. In a nonprofit, you can really just make your own job title and sit them on the board. So bring your skills. We'll think of a name.
Well, since we're on the topic, where can we find you if we want to reach out and say, hey, you know what? I want to be on your team.
So I would definitely just say text me. Let's save each other a lot of time. You can text me. Actually, that would not be smart. As much as time as I want to save, my phone will probably blow up. So
let's do Instagram handles. And
yeah, and then in my Instagram bio, there's a landing page, and the landing page will take you to like contact. It takes you to how to email me. Think Happy Live Happy is the Instagram, but the handle is THLHINC. So the Instagram name is THLHINC, and then the handle will pop up as Think Happy Live Happy. And then personal is Lucky LUCK.IE.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, if you're interested in being part of Erica's team, or if you have some ideas for her to, to grow, definitely reach out.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what this platform is all about, right? It's about expressing, one, promoting ourselves, but two is to give back our knowledge, give back what we've learned, and be able to help each other, right? Because at the end of the day, your business is only going to be able to grow so far without other people. You can't grow without the help of somebody at some point. You're always going to need it. And that's really what that's what I'm striving to build here, is a network of people that can connect through these podcasts. If you're listening to this, you reach out to anybody, and hopefully you're learning something, but you can also give back to something, right?
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. And then also, let's shout out Force the Culture, because what an amazing platform that is. Like that, I need to be filled with that kind of energy, people around me who are doing the same things, because I can definitely say, like, your environment and your peers, that influence you a lot, especially if you don't have the same mindset of them and you don't know that yet. Like it really is who you spend your time around, where you spend your time at. That changed me drastically. Moving out of my hometown in my 20s, or my teens, I think I moved out in my teens, going into my 20s, and it was just, it was good, because you never know which one of your friends you grew up with these people, but y'all might not have the same interest or same needs when it comes to having friendships. So definitely, I'm just grateful to be a part of a platform where I can be on your podcast. So. And then thank you for having this platform too.
No, you're welcome. I want to switch gears a little bit here. What is it like being a student entrepreneur? Like, what is that? What's that journey like?
I would have to say it's pretty rewarding, And I had to stop myself because I was going to say that it's overwhelming. And I want to be transparent in that, because I had to stop myself and think, you know, what's the positive way I want to give off. It is overwhelming, let's be honest, but it's also rewarding, because at the end of the day, once you get to the point where you have a plan and you begin to work that plan, I feel very accomplished, you know, because like you said, I was a horrible student. I also was a horrible student. I did not have straight A's. I did not think that I was going to start a business. You know, I didn't graduate high school. I got my GED. Like this college idea was like only a requirement of having to live with people. They were like, you have to go to school. But I actually began to fall in love with school because I'm pretty smart, you know, and I didn't know that at first. So, I think being a student entrepreneur definitely allows you to view yourself in a different light, and it allows you to really open up your mind and open up what you're capable of, because it demands more of you, and you want to give more, because who doesn't like to feel accomplished?
Yes.
So it creates the grounds for that. But there definitely has to be a balance between personal life and school life. I'm learning that too, and how to balance the two, or else I'll be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And get a good advisor. So you don't have to take 6 years of math.
Yeah. You know, there's a really good book about that by Alex Morton. It's called Don't Ruin a Millionaire.
Okay, let me write that down.
Yeah. Where he talks about being a student entrepreneur. And, you know, the obstacles of being young and being in an environment that doesn't always reward, you know, entrepreneurship, right? You know, universities are very notorious for not rewarding that. They do in some ways and they don't in a lot of other ways. So, you know, those obstacles, those feelings that a lot of people have, right? He does a really good job like talking about that and advising people on how to get through it, right? More than anything, just like how to get through all those obstacles. You know, if you had to go back, or if you were talking to someone that's about to start the same process, being an entrepreneur but also a full-time student, what advice would you give them?
I would really just advise them to be. No, I would advise them to be patient. Because now that I think about it, like I wanted college to be over with very quickly, and it's not a quick process, because I might change my major, I might change my mind. Yeah. So like just be patient with yourself and be patient and trust the process. I know that's such a cliche statement, but like for people who really in their process, like I understand that saying now. Trust the process, because things are gonna unfold. College brings opportunities. It's brought me plenty of opportunities. You know, and be involved on campus, like that's a big key. That's a major key where a lot of my opportunities come from, is being involved on campus. And that really showed me what I can do on my own. You know, what if I wasn't in college and I was just making these connections by myself? So just be patient, and then, you know, have a plan.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Perfect. And, you know, as we wrap up now, you know, what's one thing you would tell someone, you know, maybe they're struggling right now, they're starting to feel down on themselves, or, you know, they're starting off in this journey. What's something you would advise someone?
I would definitely say be gentle with yourself. You know, because you're only one person, and we're not given a manual on entrepreneurship. Yeah, you can go buy a book, but you have to then read that book. And who's to say that, you know, you don't have the motivation to read that book? So I would just say be gentle with yourself. But then don't ever give up. Like, don't ever just let your idea or your dream die down. Because I can't imagine where would I be if I just was like, didn't take care of this baby. I say think happy, live happy is my child. Like I birthed this child, and now I have to give life to this child. Yeah. So I look at it as like that, you know, like this is real. It's only gonna go where I take it. So, you know, just be gentle with yourself and keep working.
That's great. And where can we find you again?
Instagram, THLHINC. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a Facebook. I have a LinkedIn, Erica King. It's just say I'm based in the Washington, Baltimore area. And then my email is in my Instagram bio.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Erica, for being on with us today. You know, I hope everyone listening today picked up some knowledge. You know, hopefully someone reaches out, they become part of your team.
Yeah.
And, you know, let's keep building, right? Let's continue this journey as entrepreneurs together. Let's keep striving for success, whatever that may be for you. And let's just keep striving for more.
Same, likewise. And then, thank you again for being as patient as you were. I do want to say that he is very patient and very mindful and professional. So, that also you're really appreciated in that regard by me and Think Happy, Live Happy. So thank you for having me, and definitely let's stay connected and continue to build.
Thank you. Well, it's been another episode of Retired 25 Podcast. I'm your host, Salomon Roybal. You can find all the links to Erica, ourselves. Please follow and subscribe. There will be in the description below, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye guys.